It's all fun and games until someone gets hurt, and video games are no exception. In moderation, gaming is an awesome hobby, allowing you to experience so many different stories and make real lifelong friends along the way. But video game addiction can lead to many terrible things. Before we begin, subscribe to TheGamer to stay up to date with all of our content and ring that bell to become a part of our notification squad so you never miss a video. Without further ado, here are 10 times video games destroyed kids' lives. Death from 22 non-stop days of gaming. If you're wondering how it's even possible to play for 22 days straight, so are we. But the answer is probably a crazy addiction. A Russian teen known as Rustam had broken his leg and to stave off boredom decided to begin playing Defense of the Ancients. Rustam only stopped playing to eat and use the bathroom. His parents thought it was a phase and would hear him mashing keys on the keyboard until one day his room fell silent. When they went to check on the reason why, they found Rustam unresponsive. They rushed him to the hospital, but it was too late. He had passed away from thrombosis, which could occur when you stay still for too long. Game binge leads to hospital visit. Ohio teen Tyler Rigsby landed himself in the hospital after gaming for 4 days straight. Now, this isn't as bad as our first entry, but at some point, you have to put the damn controller down. After purchasing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Tyler played it for 4 or perhaps 5 consecutive days, only stopping for snacks and bathroom breaks. His mom noticed Tyler was constantly in a daze and mentally distant, as if he was in his own world. After he left the room briefly, his mom heard a thud. Tyler had collapsed. His mom panicked when he became pale and his lips turned blue. Luckily, after a hospital visit, it was just extreme dehydration. Don't forget to drink, people. Korean couple forgets to feed their baby. Your greatest joy should be your children, but not for this Korean couple. They just had a beautiful baby girl, but recently lost their jobs and became very depressed. They escaped their harsh reality through a game with a fictional baby they named Anima. They became so addicted to the game, they neglected the most important person in their lives. Their real daughter starved to death for a virtual child they would never be able to hold. We just can't imagine how something like this actually happens. Who could leave their newborn for long periods of time when they need you the most? Shots fired over a controller. In Mississippi, a 9-year-old boy and his 13-year-old sister were having a friendly gaming session, until his sister refused to hand over the controller. Having a hissy fit or even swearing at your sister are typical reactions to such an event, but that's not at all what happened. Instead of just controlling his anger or getting rid of it in non-aggressive ways, he decides to retrieve a gun from his parents' bedroom and shoot his sister to death. First of all, how could their parents store a gun in a place easily accessible to their children, and why the hell would he open fire on his own sister? It's literally unexplainable. Argument ends tragically. Ontario teen Brandon Crisp had run away from home after having an argument with his parents over his excessive Xbox use. He had become obsessed with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 to the point where it affected his grades and social life. His parents decided to confiscate his console in the hopes that it would cure his obsession and put him on the right path. Brandon reacted by packing his things and threatening to leave. For some reason, his parents actually let him leave with the knowledge that he would soon return, but he never did. After a 3-week search, police finally found his body. Brandon had passed from hypothermia. The beginning of video game addiction. Kids today get their hands on technology at such a young age, but it could definitely be a bad thing as they can get addicted to it. This was a reality for stay-at-home dad Chris Bernhold, who is a self-proclaimed addict himself. He didn't intend to get his 2-year-old addicted to technology as well. When he would put the iPad away, his toddler had no clue how to interact in the real world, so he began to worry. His other children were already technology addicts, and now his youngest was learning from what she saw. Bernhold's wife even suggested their youngest needed an intervention, so Chris decided to limit screen time and increase Wii time. iPad addiction. Guy and Katie were forced to confiscate their 3-year-old's iPad after his obsession started affecting the entire family. Guy realized his son William was addicted to the iPad when he would wake him up at 4 a.m. to play with the device. One morning at 7 a.m., Guy noticed the iPad he had left charging overnight was missing. He later found William playing a game on the iPad, and William told him he had been playing for hours on end. William's parents took the iPad away, which led to tantrums and worse grades for him at school. It was so bad, his parents actually began a technology detox for William. Hiding in a virtual world. Oh, finally a happy ending. Former addict Cam Adair is now a motivational speaker warning of the dangers of gaming addiction and how it has the potential to ruin your life. Cam used to have 16-hour game binges quite regularly as young as 11 years old. His parents found it difficult to get him away from the computer and took technology out of his world entirely for 2 years. After getting the tech back, Cam dove into gaming harder than before. Fictional praise seemed to be all he needed because his grades declined and he couldn't remember actually doing homework. When Cam hit rock bottom and began to feel depressed, he finally told his parents he needed help, and he's now free from his gaming addiction. 40 hours of Diablo 3. Taiwanese teen Chuang tragically died after playing Diablo 3 for 40 hours straight with no bathroom breaks or anything. The 18-year-old just parked himself at a local internet cafe to play his new addiction to his heart's content. Chuang got lost in the world of Diablo, and no one in the entire internet cafe noticed or cared about his extensive playtime. Maybe 24/7 internet cafes shouldn't be a thing. Sooner or later, a staff member walked by to wake him. Chuang got up, looked extremely confused, and then collapsed onto the ground. The exact cause of death is still unknown, but it probably has something to do with that 40-hour video game binge session. Heart attack at 19. Jeff Daly and Peter Burkowski are pioneers, but not in the way you'd think. They were the first deaths to occur while playing video games. While trying to achieve some seriously high scores for the popular arcade game Berserk, something went wrong. Daly got an incredible score of 16,660 points, his personal best, but collapsed moments later and was pronounced dead after having a heart attack at only 19 years of age. Only a year after Daly's death, Burkowski passed in a similar manner. Burkowski was playing Berserk at his local arcade, but had clearly pushed himself too far because right after entering his initials for his high score, he also went into cardiac arrest. Berserk must be cursed or something because that is crazy. Wow, well, there you have it. That was depressing. Sometimes it's not all fun and games. Have video games ever negatively affected you or someone else in your life? In what ways have video games improved your life? Let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to The Gamer to keep up to date with all of our videos. Thanks for watching.